Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. In this video, I want to teach you how to install VICIdial on Linode Cloud platform. You know that we can install VICIdial by installing our operating systems and installing from scratch, installing from source, install all prerequisites and install VICIdial after that. But there is another type of installation that is using VICIBOX installation ISO. Of course, it's easier to install because you can load the ISO file and all the steps are very easy to follow. But the problem is that not all cloud platforms supports loading ISO file, a custom ISO file, or sometimes it's not at least very straightforward. It's the same about Linode as well. If you want to install any custom ISO file, you need to know specific steps. So in this video, I want to teach you how to install VICIdial on Linode Cloud platform using VICIBOX installation ISO. The same method more or less can be used to install any other operating system on the Linode, such as Windows or even VICIBOX distro or any other custom ISO. Of course, you need to try and see if there is any problem or not. But this step that I'm doing is perfect for VICIBOX installation. Let's get started. So log into your Linode platform and create a new Linode. We create a new Linode. The operating system is not important. Select a region. I'm selecting maybe Sydney. The shared CPU. For VICIdial, overall it's better to select dedicated CPUs. So this is just for the test, but if I want to use for the production, actually I'm using the dedicated CPUs as well to avoid any problem. So the minimum dedicated plan is 4 GB and it is $30 per month. We can give it a name. Let's give it VICIBOX 10 and add a tag, give it a password. And yes, I want to add my SSH keys, and you create a Linode. So we can check the status of our Linode here. It is still provisioning. Okay, booting process completed and the system is off right now. We click on it and then the next step is to go to the storage and we need to delete the default file systems that have created. So we delete both. And we need to add 2 disks. Let's name the first one installer and partition should be raw, and we give it about 2 GB. Of course, our ISO file is not 2 GB, but just to be safe. And we create another disk. We name it as VICIBOX raw and the balance of the space. Add. Okay, so two storage are created with the raw type. Then we need to go to the configurations and we delete the default configuration and we add 2 configurations. The first one is our installer configuration. So in the installer configuration, select kernel because we want to load our VICIBOX ISO. We need to select direct disk. So select kernel, choose as direct disk, dev SDA1 as VICIBOX, and dev SDAB as installer. And of course, because this is the installer configuration, we want our root device to be dev SDB. And turn off all automatic boot helpers. Add another configuration. Let's name it VICIBOX kernel direct disk. And here we just select dev SDA1 as VICIBOX. This is the configuration after the installation. So it just needs to boot to our installed VICIBOX system. And the root device is dev SDA. And we turn off all boot helpers. So we have two configurations, installation configuration and the VICIBOX configuration. Sorry, installer configuration and the VICIBOX configuration. Next step is to boot our Linode into the rescue mode and load our ISO file. So we can select here and select rescue. The default one, reboot into rescue mode. Let's monitor the status. It's rebooting. When the rebooting completed and the status is running, we can select launch leash console. Here actually we have access to the Linode rescue mode, and we can load our ISO file. We need to download our ISO file. We don't need to download actually, because here if you go to the VICIBOX.org, we have VICIBOX standalone installations that if you click on it, you can see it will download automatically. So what we can do, we can actually copy link address. We go back to our console, and here we can download and then using the dd command to write the ISO to our dev SDA, or we can use curl command directly, curl the path of the ISO file. So it will automatically download, and we can use the dd command, and we specify our output device as dev SDA, and we enter. It will automatically download and also load into the dev SDA1. Let me cancel this download as well. We don't need it on my computer. Okay, ISO file is about 1 gig, so you need to be patient so that it fully downloads and write to our dev SDA. Okay, the process is complete. Here is the tricky part. Let's close the console. After the ISO loaded, we need to reboot the system. And here you can select our configuration. We want to select our installer configuration and submit. So we reboot again. I'm repeating, we reboot and we select installer and submit. The tricky part is that the VICIBOX installation ISO, when it boots, it asks if you want to install or if you want to actually boot from the hard disk, and the default is from hard disk. So when this booting is not complete and when it is about 90%, you need to log into the console. You need to launch the leash console and select install from ISO. So let's do it right now. We are waiting till it goes to the 80 or 90%. Okay, so when it wants to reach 100%, we just boot it. And you can see here, I need to click and select and just press up or down. Because if I do not press this and if I do not run this immediately, I mean on 90% or even when it is exactly 100%, it will automatically boot from the first option, that is boot from hard disk. And we don't want that. We want to boot and we want to install the VICIBOX version 10. So that's the only tricky part that I can see when we want to install it on the Linode. And so I select install VICIBOX 10, and that's it. Of course, when we install VICIBOX 10, you cannot see in the Weblish console. Now you need to go to the Glish console. Okay, and that's it. We have loaded the VICIBOX installation ISO, and we are ready to install the system. Next steps are like any other VICIBOX installation. I have a video that I will put into the description that you can follow exactly what I have trained there. Also, you need to keep in mind that when you are rebooting after the VICIBOX installation, you need to boot into the VICIBOX configuration because you don't want to boot again to the CD and install again. So when you have installed the VICIBOX using the VICIBOX Express command, and boot into the VICIBOX configuration profile. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any question, you can comment here. I'm usually online to answer. Thank you.